Stay safe out there. The storms this morning making rescue efforts more challenging in Johnson County.
State police say at least one person has died as several others are missing, and it includes some children because of the flash flooding. Many homes in the Flat Gap community have been destroyed. WKYT's Sean Moody is getting close to arriving in Johnson County now. He's joining us by phone with an update on the search and rescue efforts as he's been checking ahead. Hey, good morning, Sean.
Good morning, Bill and Rebecca. It's just a really tough situation there in Johnson County. Of course, they didn't need any more rain, but that's what they're getting right now. Dispatchers there told us that the water is starting to go back up again, and that's making things a lot harder as far as search and rescue efforts go. Kentucky State Police tell us they'll be out there today searching. Right now, the number of people they're looking for is somewhere between 8 and 12, and we're told one person is confirmed dead from the high waters. There are rescue teams from some of the neighboring counties that are in Johnson County this morning trying to help with the search. They've also had to close a lot of roads there in Flat Gap because of flooding. They want people to stay away from the area.
Well, I'm concerned about my son who was up here with a beloved babysitter slash grandmother trapped with water, and all I know is no electricity because a trailer ran into their electric pole.
The water just rose rapidly. It was just unbelievable how fast it rose. Just in a matter of hours, it's actually what we got right now. It's just a mess.
Yeah, and again, 40 homes that we know of, at least 40 were destroyed there in Johnson County. I'm probably about 20 miles from getting to Paintsville, and we'll be going around the area trying to cover it as much as we can this morning and bringing those updates as best we can, and hopefully have a happy news to end the search for these 8 to 12 people. For now, live in Magoffin County, Sean Moody, WKYT.
And unfortunately, daylight may bring some tough images out of there. The dramatic situation is still unfolding right now in Johnson County, but the damage reports there are staggering. One person has died from the flash flooding, and state police say 7 people are still unaccounted for. That number is very fluid at the moment. Emergency crews have performed 50 water rescues in the last 24 hours. And at least 150 homes have been destroyed by the flooding, but hundreds more have been damaged. WKYT's Sean Moody continues our First Alert Severe Weather Team coverage now with this report from Johnson County. Sean?
Well, this is where Kentucky State Police are stopping people who are trying to get into the area. Flat Gap is about 8 miles or so up 172 there. Kentucky State Police, fire departments, and search and rescuers from 50 miles around, and about 47 soldiers from the Kentucky National Guard are here in Johnson County looking for those people who've been reported unaccounted for. That number's at 7 at last check, but state police say it fluctuates because as soon as they find some people, others are reported unaccounted for. The hardest hit area is Flat Gap. For the next few hours, rescuers will continue going through that area and trying to find anyone they can. State police said that water and debris were making things difficult. They say it'll take a few days to get a complete picture of how many homes have been destroyed.
We just got those first responders on the ground after that weather this morning, but I think we're going to get up in the neighborhood of at least 150.
Now, we've got a photographer going through the damaged area with Kentucky State Police right now. We'll bring you that video a little bit later on. In Johnson County, Sean Moody, WKYT.
All right, Sean, thank you. And there is a shelter that is set up for people who need it at the Paintsville Recreation Center.
Well, flash floods devastated an eastern Kentucky community during last night's storms.
One person is dead and several remain missing here at midday after the waters rose suddenly in Johnson County. Floodwaters also damaged or destroyed more than 100 homes. Governor Steve Beshear has just issued a state of emergency because of the weather situation. WKYT's Sean Moody is tracking the latest now. He begins our First Alert Weather Team coverage at 12:30. Sean?
Kentucky State Police say right now their list of people who are unaccounted for stands at 7, but it's constantly fluctuating. They say as they find people, other people are reported unaccounted for. Now, most of the damage is up Highway 172 in Flat Gap. We weren't allowed in there to get video of the damage this morning. Along Highway 201 east of Flat Gap, several parts of the road were washed out. Police said the flood has killed one man. That's the only confirmed death. There will be many families affected, though the emergency management director estimates that by the time they get a big picture of the damage, 150 homes may have been destroyed. Police said the search and rescue effort is challenging.
The officials have mapped out the area. It's a systematic grid-type search. Predominantly on the ground, and obviously we're dealing with the difficulties out there of debris and still some austere weather conditions and some very dangerous conditions in terms of the water.
We do have a photographer along with Kentucky State Police up there in the damaged area. We'll show you that video a little bit later on. In Johnson County, Sean Moody, WKYT.
Sean, thank you. And volunteers are putting together care packages containing clothing, baby supplies, and cleaning supplies at Johnson Central High School right now.
Today, we were also able to receive a look at the devastating damage from up in the air today. Sean Moody was able to fly over Johnson County in Sky First, and he gives us this look.
When you're flying in the helicopter over Johnson County, it's not necessarily obvious where the damage is going to be. You have to be right on top of it before you see it, but that's where you'll see the debris along the water's edge, and as I'll show you, homes thrown right up against each other. Things look okay here in downtown Paintsville as you take off. Set a course to the northeast and you'll hit Mudlick Creek along Highway 172. From there, it doesn't take long before you start seeing damage. There's debris all through the field behind Ramey Branch Gospel Church. One of the things that's been giving first responders trouble is a lack of communication. The flood took out a lot of the landline telephone poles. Hung up there in the trees, you can see debris that's been pushed from further upstream. Then you hit what used to be a mobile home park. You can see there are 5, maybe 6 mobile homes just smashed up together along the edge of the water. You can see people gathered around that home there, and if you look close, you can see a car mixed into the middle of the remains of that home. There are more cars not far away stuck there in the mud. The County Emergency Management Director says just along Highway 172 alone, there were 60 homes destroyed. Now, of course, right now the Emergency Director said their main focus is search and rescue, trying to find and help people. After that, they'll document the damage. He said he estimates by the time this is all said and done, there could be as many as 150 homes destroyed. Over Johnson County, Sean Moody, WKYT.
Today, those needing essential supplies will be getting more help. WKYT's Sean Moody has been on the ground in Johnson County since this time yesterday morning. He's joining us now. Sean, what's the latest on the rescue effort? Do people have a place they can go for help?
Bill, the latest official word that we had is that 6 people remain unaccounted for here in Johnson County, and we also know 2 people have sadly died. As far as help goes, well, you can just look right around me here in the Johnson Central High School. These donations started coming in around noon yesterday and just filled the cafeteria right up. We know of 2 people who died, Willa Mae Pennington and Herman Eddie May. The flood destroyed 60 homes along Highway 172 near Flat Gap, and in all, the Emergency Management Director said there could be as many as 150 homes destroyed across the county by the time they're able to get a look around. And we got a look at the damage on the ground and from the sky yesterday, and you can really get a sense of how devastating this was for the community. The brighter side is the sense of community that's shown through. Donations started coming in here to the Johnson Central High School cafeteria yesterday afternoon and quickly filled the place up. Now, this spot will open up for pickups and drop-offs at 8 o'clock this morning, and they'll run all the way through 8 o'clock this evening. They're also going to bring cooks in here shortly to start making meals, and they'll bring those meals out to the community, the areas that were hardest hit, a little bit later on this morning. Live from Johnson County, Sean Moody, WKYT.
All right, Sean, thank you so much. WKYT Sean Moody has been on the ground in Johnson County since early yesterday morning. He's standing by for today's update from state police and other responders. And Sean, I understand the community is really stepping up to help there.
Good morning, Bill and Barb. They really are. We expect this news conference will begin in the next few minutes here in the Johnson Central High School gymnasium. Last official word we had, there were 2 people confirmed dead, 6 people unaccounted for. We expect to find out more as soon as this news conference gets underway. Now, right across the hall in the Johnson Central cafeteria, there are volunteers in and out all morning long, bringing in donations. Some people who need supplies coming in to get donations. It's been amazing to watch it fill up that quickly with people who were able to drop off supplies. There's also a group of cafeteria workers who are making lunches that they'll send out to people who can't get out. They're going to be sending those out over the next couple of hours. Now, again, this news conference will begin any minute, and as soon as we get this information from the news conference, we will send it back out to you. Live in Johnson County, Sean Moody, WKYT.
WKYT Sean Moody has an update now from police on the search and rescue efforts. He begins our top story team weather coverage at noon. Sean.
Kentucky State Police say they can definitively say now that there are 2 men who they're searching for who witnesses saw swept away by floodwaters. As rescue work search for those 2 men, people who want to help all the others stuck in the flood area are ramping up their efforts here at the high school. There are 4 other people who police say are unaccounted for, but they want to emphasize that there's no evidence that anything has happened to those people. They said these are not the same 4 who were unaccounted for last night. Search and rescue workers are still going through the areas today looking for anyone who needs help. Police said those 2 men who were swept away came from 2 different incidents. They haven't said where they were seen or specifically where their priority search areas are today. They did say they still consider this a search and rescue operation, not a recovery operation. A strong storm blew through here yesterday evening. Rescuers had to stop for a bit because of that, but they did pick it back up again. There was also a rescue worker who had to be checked out after getting stuck in the mud. Police said he was stuck up to somewhere between his knees and his waist. They said his injuries were not life-threatening. State police say it's pretty unforgiving in that flood area.
It's very, very austere conditions. It's hindered a great deal by some very large debris fields, and I mean, I'm personally going through seeing piles of foliage and other kinds of debris 12, 15 feet high, so it's very difficult to get through.
Now, the volunteer efforts are also still going strong inside Johnson Central High School. Volunteers will bring several of these supplies out to the flood zone throughout the afternoon. In Johnson County, Sean Moody, WKYT.
Our Sean Moody has been tracking the devastation in Johnson County and has more on relief efforts and supplies making their way into the county. It's our top story at 4:30.
Well, people have been coming in here to Johnson Central High School's cafeteria dropping off supplies for the past day or so, and then people who need supplies can come here and get them, but not everyone can make it out of their house. That's where these supply runs come in. It's the middle of the journey for these donations. They get sorted at the high school, then they head right back out.
It's unreal, the people that have come out and supported all this, and the donations and the help.
Sheila Hill works for the school system. She knows a lot of the people who've had damage. This is her way of helping out. Just a few minutes up the road, through a state police checkpoint and into the damage zone. It's overwhelming to see.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. On the drive up, it's just devastation everywhere you look. It's really terrible.
After a little while, they've made it to the Flat Gap Volunteer Fire Department. Those supplies head inside to join the rest of them, and they'll go to the people who can't get out of here.
You got another one?
Sheila says it's a lot to take in, but she's glad so many people are stepping up.
Can you pop it on here? Thank you. Overwhelming all that's happened, but it's also just a blessing to be able to help these people.
That's just one of several supply trips they've made through there. This distribution center at Johnson Central High School will be open each day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. In Johnson County, Sean Moody, WKYT.